One of the biggest money hacks for digital nomads and expats is transferring your residency to a low-tax state. Moving your domicile is completely legal and can potentially save you thousands of dollars a year in tax payments. Let's dive in. This video is brought to you by Savvy Nomad, the service that helps you establish a domicile, stay in legal compliance, and reduce your state income tax obligations to zero. Today we're diving into one of the most important and overlooked parts of location-independent lifestyles, which are the easiest states for U.S. taxpayers to obtain residency. For digital nomads and expats, the stakes are incredibly high. Your residency affects things like how much you pay in taxes, where you vote, and accessing healthcare. If you leave the US without setting up a new domicile, your domicile stays with the last state that you lived in. This leaves you on the hook for big tax payments to a state where you aren't even spending most of the year. The good news is that you can pick a new state for your legal home, which can save you between 5 and 20% of your income. Technically, we're talking about establishing a domicile. So what does that mean? Although the terms residence and domicile are often used interchangeably, there are some important differences. You can have multiple residences, say a beach house in Fiji, an apartment in New York City, and a home in Medellin, but you can only have one domicile. Think of it as your home base. Your domicile is your permanent home. It's the place that you always go back to. A residence, on the other hand, can be either temporary or permanent. Really, it all comes down to your future intent. States are going to want to have some proof of your ultimate intentions. Establishing a domicile can be done by obtaining a driver's license, registering to vote, and establishing a primary residence in the state. The process of establishing a domicile often involves severing ties with your previous state of residence and forming new connections in your new state, such as changing your healthcare providers and updating your mailing address. Second, you must prove residency in a new state. You must provide documentation showing that you have a physical presence, which can include things like a driver's license, a state ID, voter registration, a lease or mortgage agreement, bank statements, or utility bills. States may also consider other factors, such as the individual's employment, education, and family ties. These documents collectively serve as evidence of your intent to make the state your permanent home and can be crucial in situations where your residency status is questioned. Each state has its own criteria for what constitutes residency, and meeting these criteria can affect how you pay income taxes and fulfill other state tax obligations. But not all states are created equal, so let's break down the top 5 easiest states for residency. Number 1 is Florida. Florida is a popular state for internal immigration, meaning nomads and expats represent a very small part of the population. This makes the state particularly friendly and welcoming. For digital nomads and expats, Florida's got the full package of convenience is your priority. There's no state income tax or capital gains tax, no vehicle inspection required, no minimum stay required, and there's an easy process to establish a domicile. Demonstrating legal residency in Florida is relatively simple. The process generally involves 1. Securing a permanent residence in the state, 2. Acquiring a Florida driver's license, and 3. Registering to vote using your new Florida address, often in that exact order. You can also file a declaration of domicile with the Court of Clerks in the county of your domicile. The declaration of domicile, which must be witnessed by a notary public, declares your intent to make Florida your domicile. The one downside of Florida is that the state requires a residential address to apply for a driver's license and to register a vehicle. Unlike states such as South Dakota, you can't just use a simple mailbox as a residential address, but must use a house, apartment, or RV park instead. Now, the good news is that services like Savvy Nomad can help with that. Most Savvy Nomad clients complete the essentials within 1 or 2 days, then freely live abroad or travel elsewhere without worry. Number 2 is South Dakota. South Dakota has gained recognition as an ideal domicile state for digital nomads thanks to its simple residency requirements and favorable tax policies. There is no state income tax or capital gains tax and a super easy process for establishing a domicile. The process of establishing a domicile in South Dakota is very straightforward. You must obtain a physical address within the state, acquire a South Dakota driver's license, and register any vehicles with the state, all of which can be done with minimal hassle. Unlike Florida, you do not need a residential address to get a driver's license or register a vehicle. Instead, you can use a personal mailbox address for these purposes. Note that South Dakota recently passed policies that prevent residents without a residential address from voting. The state's small population means that moving from a major state like California or New York can attract scrutiny. To vote in South Dakota, you must rent an apartment, a house, or a long-term RV spot within the state. Also, a personal mailbox address cannot be used for payroll purposes, which is likely a non-starter for most W-2 employees. Several of our South Dakota clients have also encountered unexpected issues with the DMV, even when all their documentation and preparations were completely in order. That's why Savvy Nomad no longer offers services in South Dakota, but it might still be a good option depending on your personal circumstances. Next, at number 3, we have Texas. Texas has a lot going for it. There's no state income tax, no corporate tax, and it's business friendly. Setting up residency in Texas is straightforward, involving steps like getting a Texas driver's license, registering to vote, and establishing a permanent address in the state. But here's the fine print. You must be in Texas for at least 30 days before applying for a license, and every car needs an annual safety inspection, which, understandably, can be a pain if you live abroad or are constantly traveling. Number 4, we have Nevada. Nevada is a less common choice than Florida or Texas, but it does have some appealing benefits. The state offers zero state income tax and excellent asset protection laws. It's also in close proximity to California, making it a popular choice for many ex-Californians. The process for establishing residency in Nevada is straightforward, requiring individuals to have a permanent address in the state and obtain a Nevada driver's license or state ID. The state's definition of a permanent residence is notably flexible. You can even hole up at a hotel in Las Vegas, as long as you can demonstrate 30 consecutive days of residency. Downside is that you'll need an annual smog check on your vehicle, and some counties have higher vehicle fees and insurance premiums. Finally, number 5, we have Wyoming. Wyoming doesn't just have cool mountains and ranches, it also has zero corporate tax, no income tax, and is a great place to start an LLC. However, it's not the easiest choice for personal residency. You'll need a real residential street address to get your driver's license, which isn't always the simplest for digital nomads. Before you finalize your domicile, keep these critical points in mind. Make sure you sever ties completely with your previous state. Update those bank accounts, inform your employer, and document your new domicile clearly. If you live in a high-tax state like California or New York, keeping an active apartment lease can lead those states to claim you as their resident. If you own property, rent it out, or have clear proof that's just a vacation home and not your primary residence. If you spend more than half the year, i.e. 183 days, in a different state than your domicile, then that state might claim that you're their tax resident, leading to potential disputes. Remember, every state can also tax income earned locally, regardless of your domicile. So in the end, what's the best state for nomads? In our view, Florida is the clear favorite. It's easy to establish a domicile, it's sunny, and best of all, tax-free. South Dakota and Texas present a few more obstacles, but they are also solid options, along with Nevada and Wyoming. A lot depends on your own personal situation. Just remember, you can only have one domicile. No matter where you choose, make sure you get a driver's license, register to vote, update your address with banks, set up healthcare and other services locally, sever ties with your old state. Yes, all of this matters. If this video helped you, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe for more digital nomad tax hacks, tips, and remote life freedom. You can also check out the links in the video description for some super useful articles and guides. And hey, if you need help setting up a legal address and making the move stress-free, check out Savvy Nomad's full service, link in the video description. Until next time, stay free, stay curious, and stay on the move. See you later.